Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that we just got a brand new Juice WRLD album. There were some amazing songs throughout the whole project, but in this video specifically, I want to focus on one song, and it wasn't even by Juice WRLD. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I made a beat similar to the song Goodbye off of this project, but it's by the Kid LAROI. It's a very sad pop ballad, and it's basically LAROI saying his goodbye to Juice WRLD. God. It's a super sad and emotional song. That's just a simple way to put it, but I tried recreating that same vibe in this beat, and I'm gonna break it down for you guys. So I obviously started with the piano here, and this is what it sounds like. To come up with this chord progression, I basically started with the root notes. We're in the key of B major, so I went up to F sharp, which is the 5th in the scale. Then I went down to the 2nd note of the scale, then up to the 3rd. And then for the second half, the first 2 bars are the same as the first 2 bars. But the last chord, I went down to B, which is the 1st, and it kind of just ties it all together, brings the melody all home. Everything up here is basically me filling out the triads, adding some notes that I thought sounded good. Honestly, that's my best advice when making melodies, period, or especially like emotional piano melodies. Start adding notes on top of these triads that you already made. It'll give it more of a complex sound. Also, keeping notes squished together like that gives a more emotional, dark sort of feel. So just play around and see what you can come up with. You might find something you like. Since this is a ballad type of beat, there has to be variation between different sections in the melody. There's no drums on the song Goodbye, so I didn't put any drums on this. So for the verse piano, I kind of just took out a couple notes just to kind of like make it sound empty compared to the chorus, and this is what it sounds like. Not a drastic difference, but there definitely is change, and you'll be able to hear it when I play you the full beat. This next sound that I added was a melody loop that I found on Splice, but the effects that I added completely changed it. This is what it sounds like originally. I pitched it up an octave because I knew I was going to run it into Deja Vu, which brings it back down an octave and also slows down the speed. Then it's going through an effect rack preset that I have. It's just adding distortion and also making it a little wider with micro shift. And then just this EQ cutting out lows and turning down some of the highs. This is what it sounds like now. After putting those effects on that sound and adding the piano chords back in, it really gives me the sound that I was going for, which is just atmospheric, open, and emotional. While the production was pretty simple on the song Goodbye, I wanted to add some more elements to kind of fill up my beat. Like I said, there's no drums on this beat. There was no drums on the song, but they had the Kid LAROI's voice, and I don't have access to that. So I added this vocal chop. The effects I put on it are pretty simple, just a filter freak, low pass filter, and a quarter note delay using this Echo Boy Jr. Everything in effect rack. I filtered out the delay just to kind of give it more of like a filtered delay. Yeah. After that, I knew I had to fill up the low end, so I went into my Soulsonics multi-kit, grabbed this bass one shot, and followed the root notes. Putting those 4 sounds together gets you a pretty solid start for a ballad type of beat like this. Once I got to arranging it out, it still felt very stagnant, and there was really no build throughout the entire beat. I knew I was going to have to add some more sounds in the later sections just to kind of have something to build to. The first sound that I added was this choir from Analog Labs, and it's just copying the same chords as the piano. The next thing I added was this drum percussion loop that I made from my Soulsonics multi-kit. If you want to get technical, I did say that I didn't add any drums, but these are so affected and filtered out and tucked in the back that you really can't even hear them. They're just there to fill up some space and give some rhythm. Since this is a LAROI type beat, I wanted to add a sound that just made it super obvious that LAROI would make a song to this beat. I got to thinking and I hopped into Arcade and made this vocal chop. Taking inspiration from LAROI's song Nights Like This, produced by Clams Casino, I chopped the vocal sample up into eighth notes and I also pitched it up an octave to get me this. The effects I added to this was just a compressor to kind of smooth out the volume, a filter cutting out some of the lows, and this effect rack with Pan Man on it, having it go from ear to ear every 4 bars. That sound really ties the last section of this beat together. It gives me something to build towards and it gives the listener something to look forward to when they're listening. Again, I took inspiration for this beat from the song Goodbye off of Juice WRLD's The Party Never Ends album, but it's sang by the Kid LAROI. There's gonna be a whole video that I do coming soon on that album, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna play you guys the final beat. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more videos.